Hey guys, Dane here coming back to you with another adaptive exercise and rehab video. This one is coming from some questions coming from a facility in New York. Um, this is from Motion Project from one of the recovery specialists there. Uh, so one of the questions that he had was strategies and methods do we use here at New Ability for somebody with high tone and spasticity? Saying we have a couple C-level clients that are very high tone, spastic, even small changes in position can have a significant spasm because of this, limited by exercises to perform. Um, so first of all, it's not a you thing. It's definitely not a you thing. It is very much so a physiology of their body thing too. So what we found with C-spines, C-spine injuries that have an incredible amount of tone is getting them as much gross scale movement prior to. So we take them through stretching, ranges of motion too. I do pin and stretching too to apply pressure into those muscles that are a little more spastic. What we've seen too is a lot of clients' arms will bend. We'll have clients will kind of straighten. We'll have clients' arms, and then their torsos will shift right and left then too. So we try to do as much down regulation of their nervous system and as much movement of their body as at first. That seemed to have had the most kind of impact on that. That's kind of just a non-equipment type thing. Outside of that, would be using the power plate or some type of vibration platform if you have that. Um, what we've noticed with that is that'll upregulate the nervous system, get everything kind of tightened up, and then after where the machine's off, it allows everything just kind of loosen down. Spasms will be able to release quite a bit then too. So typical protocol that we do with that is called ankles on the power plate, where we can do dorsiflexion, plantar flexion, inversion, and eversion on the power plate, and that'll kind of work on a ground base up to be able to reduce spasticity in the lower extremities, particularly reducing clonus, and then a little bit of hamstring and quad activity too. Another technique we've been using with the power plate, instead of ankles in the power plate, we've been doing hands in the power plate for somebody who has the ability to be extended or to be vertical and get their hands on it so they can open their palms up. Or from there, as we getting C-spine, high-level quadriplegics laying on the power plate now too. So we basically raise our table up, have it equal with the plate, put a plyo box on top of it, and then put it on a nice low frequency. So there's a little bit of vibration, and that takes care of a lot of their core and shoulder, and then arm and neck spasms too. So I would say stretching as much as possible, trying to do a pin and stretch technique would be probably ideal. Outside of that, trying to use some type of vibration techniques. I know Theragun also has a kind of percussive vibration technique to it too. We also use a product called the Rockwave Pro, or the Rockwave Pro, I believe it's called. So different things with that. And then, the vibration plate, though, is for sure the thing that we use that has the most immediate impact on spasticity and tone for clients. It's a great question, though. But by no means is this a you thing. This is very much so physiology of the body thing. It's not a whole lot that we can do to be able to reduce tone. Outside of that, too, it could very well be medically driven, too. Some medications that they're taking could be not appropriately dosed or appropriately utilized, or could be a different type of medication they may be using instead. Great first question, though. Next question is, has heard others in the SCI space and myself say, meet the client where they're at currently. Understand what that means. At the client's current ability level, we often say communication and movement. Therefore, okay, cool. And movement below the level of injury, therefore outside of their current ability. So my question is, how do you balance working with a client's current abilities while also trying to go beyond that and find new connections and activations? So that's the name of the game, honestly, for us. It's incredibly difficult. It is, very, very, it's not always the same thing too. It's almost temperamental to some degree or another too. But what we've seen with that is it's very much so this process of we need to get a person in the position where their entire body is an advantage to work. So two movements that I can think of right off the bat, granted there's probably dozens of more that we do at New Ability, is the sit to stand machine. So that's where they basically have a grab bar up top. They have their harness attached to their hips with weight pulling their hips forward. They have their knees blocked. We usually put an ankle strap and a knee block or a yoga block between their knees so they don't have any valgus maneuvers. And that basically allows us to be able to say, cool, we have everything can be utilized. We can use legs, we can use core, we can use upper body, everything's there. But now we work into, cool, let's ground the person once they're standing. Let's get their nervous system relaxed, get them to down regulate. Let's re-educate their nervous system in terms of this is what we're looking for with your belly. This is what we're looking for with your hips. This is what we're looking for with your upper quad, upper thigh area, and then your knee. We give different proprioceptive maneuvers too. So that very much so is this process of putting people, putting a mirror in front of somebody, or trying to have them close their eyes, understand where they are in space is a really important one also. The second maneuver too is called our lower back extensions, so yeah, lumbar extensions, or kind of adaptive deadlift to some degree or another. It's almost a horizontal deadlift type motion. Again, we can use the person's body weight, get their shoulders to retract, get them to use some momentum, some extension through their lower back also. But we very much so are putting their feet up against a block, a plyo box, getting their knees to bend, getting their hips flexed too. So within that, we're putting the remainder of their body at an advantage to be working. So, and then it's a slow process of taking away assistance and adding resistance, or basically working into a process where it's, okay, now I see that you're able to understand what I'm trying to say with cues and with the objective, feedback loops I'm giving you with the mirrors and such. From there, okay, let's see if we can push this even more forward. Maybe I can add a different type of stimulation to it. Maybe I can add FES. Maybe I can add a Theragun. Maybe I can add a rock wave that brings more conscious awareness to what's going on with those muscles. But it very much so is starting a person in a large scale movement that they're very difficult to come by too. So feel free to use the sit to stands and lower back extensions. They're used all over the place. But from there, it is working and cueing the person into a neuromuscular re-education process where they're learning how to do this back for themselves in a reductionary process. That's how I've gone about it too. Granted, nobody's ever really taught me exactly what to do with this. I've just kind of pieced things together for myself. But fantastic questions. If anybody else has any more questions, I'd be happy to answer them too. Just want to say thank you again to Joe in New York at Motion Project. Joe, if you have any more questions, please shoot them out to me too. Happy to help wherever I can. And quite frankly, to anybody else who's working in this field too, please put out content of what your thoughts are, how you're going about this, the sequences, how you're going about your flows, how you get into a flow. Where your struggles are, where your discrepancies are too. We're working on building committees here to be able to help with programming. All will have neurology backgrounds, physical therapy backgrounds, chiropractic backgrounds. So it gives us more utility. More questions we have, the more we can use them and more we can use their value, and then be able to, help more people then too. Thanks again for the questions, guys, and hope to catch you guys next time. Peace.